You might have heard lots of rumours swirling about the couple, especially over the weekend, that their relationship is on the rocks. It's been suggested the couple are taking some time apart.
There is the hope amongst certain people at the palace that when the marriage breaks down or breaks up,
Sussex are reportedly on a trial separation after months of fighting. Sources close to the pair say the time apart is in the hope of rebuilding their bond after recent humiliation and deals falling.
They say every fairy tale hides a crack, but this one didn't just crack. It straight up slipped open the moment one email leaked into the world like it was never meant to be read. One sentence, one tiny slip from Prince Harry, and suddenly everybody saw a version of him he never planned to show. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but it carried that quiet weight that makes people lean in and ask, hold on.
Family relations will ever be the same ever again. But if there were a divorce, it would be a more dignified way of extricating him from the situation.
What did he really mean by that? For years, people truly believed Harry would protect Meghan Markle with unshakable loyalty, riding with her through anything life threw at them. He left his home, stepped away from everything familiar, and built this whole image of a partner ready to fight the world just to keep her safe. But that email changed the energy completely, like someone pulled back a curtain and revealed feelings he tried to hide. Suddenly, the perfect story didn't feel so perfect, and fans started wondering if the pressure, the spotlight, and the non-stop drama had finally pushed him to slip the truth without realizing it. And trust me, once a message like that escapes, there's no taking it back. Harry walked away from his titles, his family, and the future that was built for him, all to stand beside Meghan like nothing could shake them. But now the storm isn't coming from Meghan at all. It's coming straight from Harry, and insiders say his latest confession hit harder than anything the palace expected. People close to the situation claim this moment blindsided Meghan completely and exposed a crack running right through the foundation of their marriage, a crack nobody saw coming.
They went over to America. They were going to be a power couple. They were going to be the next Michelle and Barack Obama or the next George and Amal Clooney, and that has not worked out for them.
And the wild part? It all traces back to February 2018, to one simple email Harry wrote that somehow turned into legal evidence in court. On the surface, the message looked clean and polished, exactly what you'd expect from someone trying to protect the woman he loved. But hidden between those lines was one sentence that made royal insiders freeze like they just spotted a glitch in his entire story. A sentence that didn't line up with the timeline, didn't match the facts, and didn't match the truth people were told. That single line flipped everything, because here's the real issue. In February 2018, there was no baby announcement, no hints, no bump, no rumors, nothing. So why did Harry mention something that wasn't supposed to exist yet?
Well, of course, they have poisoned the pond to such an extent, but she has poisoned it irretrievably.
Why would he drop a detail that instantly raised eyebrows inside the palace? That's the part nobody can ignore, because once that email surfaced, the whole situation started to look way more complicated than anyone expected. So why was Harry writing like a baby already existed when the whole world thought otherwise? And if a baby truly did exist, how did nobody else manage to confirm it for even a second? That question alone has people pulling at this story like a loose thread on a sweater. Because once you understand what that email really hinted at, the entire fairy tale starts to look different. Suddenly the polished image fades, and the private truth hits way harder than anyone expected. Now the big mystery becomes simple. Was Harry trying to protect Meghan from another wave of pressure, or was he trying to protect a secret he hoped would never leak?
I'm reading in these papers, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, they've split, they're taking time apart, they've been humiliated and broken by their failures, and the story was everywhere. It was in the US, it was in Britain, it was here, it was in India, it was Pakistan, everywhere.
His words didn't just sound protective, they sounded like he was guarding something deeper, something he wasn't ready to explain. And that's what makes this whole situation feel so explosive, because nobody expected his own email to shake the story this much. And here are our players in this story. Harry, emotional, loyal, heart first, and logic later. The guy who leads with feeling before thinking twice. Then Meghan, magnetic, strategic, always camera ready, and always 3 steps ahead in public. Together, they look like the perfect modern couple, the fairy tale people wanted to believe in. But behind that bright picture, things weren't as smooth as they appeared. 2 rebels rewriting the rules of royalty, 2 lovers who made it look like they were standing against the entire world. But behind those palace walls, things were far from glossy. There were quiet whispers, confused staff, rushed schedules, and late-night meetings that made people feel like something didn't line up at all. And right in the middle of that chaos was Harry, moving with this strange urgency, almost stressed, locked in on that one sentence he kept trying to slip into the story before the baby arrived. Hold on, what? Because here's the part that still makes people stop and look twice.
And given that this is a woman who he has chosen to lose everything for.
In February 2018, Meghan wasn't expecting publicly, privately, or medically. There was nothing confirmed, nothing hinted, nothing visible. So why was Harry writing like something was already in motion? Why did he push that one line so hard when the timeline simply didn't match anything happening in real life? That's what kept insiders whispering, because it felt like he was trying to get ahead of a situation nobody else knew existed. Now let's break down number 1, the impossible timeline. Harry sent that email in February 2018. Then he and Meghan got married in May 2018, and the public announcement about the pregnancy didn't come until October 2018. That is an 8-month gap. But here's the twist that stunned everyone. The way Harry phrased that sentence made it sound like the baby was supposed to arrive before the wedding, like the clock was already ticking long before anyone knew. This single detail changed the whole vibe of the timeline and made people question what was really happening behind closed doors. Think about that for a second. An unborn child that supposedly existed months before any public announcement, any confirmation, any real sign of a pregnancy.
Some commentary around the fact that there may be some upset in their marriage as well, but at this stage it's just looking like they are very much following different paths.
The math wasn't matching at all, not even a little. So the real question becomes, what timeline was Harry even working with? What did he know? And when did he know it? Because nothing fit the picture the public was shown. Now look at receipt number 2, the palace confusion. Inside those royal offices, staff members were stunned and trying to make sense of Harry's sudden urgency. Meetings that used to be simple became stressful and rushed. Schedules were rewritten overnight. Even the Queen quietly asked for clarification because the energy in the building felt strange. Yet there were no medical reports, no doctor visits on the books, no official confirmations. Nothing. Just Harry repeating the same line like it was the only thing that mattered. It needs to be settled before the baby arrives. That sentence alone made people freeze, because here's the part nobody wanted to say out loud. The only person who ever mentioned a baby at that stage was Meghan.
He has certainly tried to crawl back into certain people's good graces, which suggests that whether he has admitted that he was wrong or not, he is aware.
Harry wasn't protecting the institution, he was protecting a story. But whose story was he really defending? Now receipt number 3, the vanishing crisis. By March 2018, just a few weeks later, everything suddenly shifted. The tension, the meetings, the urgency, all of it faded like the issue had never existed. Staff stopped hearing about the mysterious deadline. Conversations about that sentence disappeared. The whole situation went quiet in a way that felt way too intentional. The panic evaporated like it never existed, the rush stopped instantly, and the urgency just disappeared into thin air. The so-called baby emergency that had thrown every royal schedule into chaos suddenly wasn't mentioned once, almost like someone flipped a switch and shut the whole thing down. Insiders quietly claimed Meghan told Harry she had lost the baby, but the timelines didn't match anything close to a genuine pregnancy. Not medically, not physically, not logically. It wasn't even close, and that's what made everyone inside those walls stop and think twice. A crisis had appeared out of nowhere and then vanished just as fast, leaving people with questions they weren't brave enough to ask out loud. And that leads straight to the one question no one in the palace could ignore anymore.
Some other famous people in the USA, Meghan Markle and, of course, her husband, the Ginger. What do you make of reports in Vanity Fair that Meghan's PR team have reportedly spruiked a potential book about her life post-divorce from Prince Harry, which is a bit awkward since the couple haven't even split up?
Was there ever a baby at all? This wasn't gossip. This was confusion pushed to the limit because nothing, absolutely nothing, lined up with normal reality. Now receipt number 4, the 3 masks. People inside the palace started noticing a pattern, almost like Meghan had 3 different versions of herself that appeared depending on what she needed in the moment. The first mask was the victim. Soft voice, wide eyes, emotional tone, the kind of energy that pulls instant sympathy. And Harry, already dealing with his own emotional history, defended her with full force every single time. The second mask was the partner, warm, close, united, the classic us against the world vibe. Whenever she leaned into that role, Harry followed without hesitation, trusting her direction completely. Then there was the third mask, the star, confident, glowing. The cameras loved her, and the spotlight wrapped around her while Harry faded into the background without even realizing it. And the timing of each mask wasn't random at all. It fit the moment perfectly, like she knew exactly which version to bring out and when to use it. Every emotional shift unlocked a different reaction in Harry, almost like Meghan didn't need control. She just needed feelings to move him exactly where she wanted. She didn't use chains, she used emotion, and Harry followed with his heart wide open. But the real question is simple. What happens when those masks stop working? What happens when the charm stops landing and the story starts slipping? Because that's when the cracks show up, and that's when the truth gets loud.
He never trashed her. He never abused her. He's never said anything nasty about her. He's hidden a lot of her secrets.
The engagement moved with record-breaking speed, practically lightning fast for a royal wedding. 6 months, which is unheard of in that world. And it wasn't just fast. It was urgent, rushed, almost frantic, like Harry believed they were racing against something invisible. And every reason pointed right back to the same phrase he kept repeating. Before the baby arrives. That line wasn't just a sentence. It was the engine behind every rushed meeting, every changed plan, every moment that didn't make sense. It stopped feeling like a wedding and started feeling like a deadline. A deadline nobody in the palace fully understood. A deadline that pushed Harry into choices that shaped the rest of his life, long before he realized how heavy those choices would become. And here's the wildest part. We still haven't reached the most shocking detail yet, not even close. When that email resurfaced, social media exploded. People tweeted things like, Harry knew about a baby months before she was pregnant, asking for explanations he never gave. Creators on TikTok reenacted the email dramatically, repeating, before the baby arrives, then cutting to an empty pregnancy pillow to show how unreal the whole situation looked. The internet wasn't confused. It was stunned because the timeline made zero sense from every angle. Memes started flying everywhere, spreading like wildfire across every platform. When people joked about the palace asking for medical proof and edited in Meghan handing over a Starbucks cup instead, the internet ran with it non-stop. Hollywood usually loves drama, but they do not love a situation they can't control, especially one built on a single line that flipped the whole story upside down. And honestly, would you believe the story if that was the only line you heard? Comment sections went crazy because the whole thing felt like a plot twist nobody expected.
So what Radar is saying is that they are taking a temporary time apart just so that Harry can try to find... Harry does not like the chaos of Los Angeles. Harry does not like the pursuits of Hollywood.
This wasn't gossip anymore. This was structural collapse inside the palace. Staff felt misled, insiders felt manipulated, and the energy shifted fast. Advisors quietly backed away like they didn't want to be anywhere near the situation, and Harry, for the first time, started noticing the cracks forming around him. Montecito looked like paradise at first, a clean break, fresh air, new life. But when the cameras shut off and the noise faded, the silence hit him even harder. He wasn't a prince anymore, not a hero in the public eye, not a bold rebel rewriting his own destiny. He started feeling like an accessory, a piece of a brand instead of a partner. Deals slowed down, Netflix raised eyebrows, and Hollywood started whispering behind the scenes, asking, is any of this real? The shine was fading, and everyone felt it. Even Meghan noticed Harry slipping emotionally, and she couldn't stop it this time. Because once a man who gave up everything starts quietly questioning why he did it, the whole foundation starts shaking like it was built on sand. This email wasn't just a line inside an old document, it was the blueprint of their entire relationship. Urgency, fear, pressure, emotion, it all stacked on top of Harry until he could barely tell what was real anymore. Because if the whole baby storyline was misunderstood or even worse, never real in the first place, then every choice he made afterward was built on sand. The rushed wedding, the palace tension, the explosive exit, the move to America, all of it. And here's the part that still hits people hard. If someone can rewrite one timeline that easily, what else could they rewrite without anyone noticing? Because once one story cracks, the entire fairy tale starts shaking. And that's when you realize this wasn't just one slip. It was a pattern, a blueprint, a timeline that didn't match the truth the world was told. So here's what we learned. One email exposed a secret timeline that didn't match anything the public saw. One sentence revealed the pressure behind that wedding, a pressure that drove Harry into decisions he can't take back. And one moment changed his life forever, long before he even realized it was happening. So now the question is simple. Has Harry finally seen the truth for what it is, or is he still living inside the story she built for both of them? Drop your thoughts below and tell me if you think she planned this from the very start. And if you love your scandal served ice cold, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.